Our guy on the phone, on the line, whatever you call this technology these days. We have Brian Culbertson. He's R&B, he's jazz, he's funk, he's a multi-instrumentalist, and we're so excited that he wrote and composed our theme song for Vail Daily Live. And Brian, you're coming to us from Chicagoland this morning.
Yes, I am. Good morning.
Hey,
Right and early. Oh,
I know. You're used to doing kind of your little shows from your studio in the PM, not the AM.
at night. Exactly. Yeah, I gotta wake up. I get my coffee here. So yeah.
Okay, perfect. Well, thanks so much for joining us, and thanks again
Sure.
for putting together our morning show song for Vail Daily Live. It turns out that you're friends with Scott Sternberg, our executive producer from Los Angeles at Scott Sternberg
Exactly.
Productions, and he's worked with you on some of your live concerts.
Yeah, Scott and I have known each other for several years now. He approached me years ago. I was like, "Hey, I want to do something together." I was like, "Okay, let's do it." And so we finally ended up doing a whole live show from Las Vegas, and where he directed, and we did that whole thing. And then, as it turns out, we did some other things. I did a theme for another show he was working on, and then he called me and said he's starting a morning show. I'm like, "Hey, you need some music?"
Yeah,
Oh, there I am.
totally. Yeah. Then we got the footage, and boy, if anyone has not seen your show, it's a high energy show. You're there right in the middle on the keyboard. You're moving around. You got a lot of players involved, and you collaborate with a lot of artists from different genres, and you get them all together because you're not the jazz musician per se. Explain your style of music.
Yeah, it's interesting. So traditional jazz, that's been around a long time. Of course, I grew up learning how to play that style, but I really got excited about contemporary jazz, the more modern feel to where there's funk and R&B thrown into the mix. Kind of like, I grew up on Earth, Wind, and Fire, groups
Yeah.
like this,
Yes.
who really kind of fuse jazz and R&B together. And that's what got me excited. I was like, I want to do that. 'Cause
Oh,
it
yeah.
makes you dance, it makes you feel good and all that stuff. So
Oh, I know. I love Earth, Wind, and Fire, all that kind of
yeah.
music. And you caught the bug early. Give us a little bit of your history growing up with music.
Oh, sure. I grew up in a musical household. There was always music playing on. So my parents said, "Okay, Brian, you're going to start piano lessons, traditional classical piano at 8 years old." I'm like, "I don't want to," like every kid, right?
Yeah.
So I did that for a while. I was like, this is it's so hard. But for me, what got me excited was I was able to visit a local kind of songwriter producer's home studio when I was about 12 years old. And it literally blew my mind. He let me come over and play with his keyboards and drum machine, and he had a 4-track recorder. Oh, crazy.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, he gave me a cassette tape. Remember those?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Of what we did, and I just wore that out. I couldn't believe, what you could do. So from that moment on, I knew what I wanted to do in life. I wanted to make music, produce music, no matter what it took. So.
Well, and you know what? And then you went to DePaul to the music school there, so you did get some official training. But your talents led you to LA right in the middle of college.
Yeah. So right when I was in college, I started working on a lot of my own music, and from there, I decided to send some demos out to one person that I knew in LA. I only knew one person out there. I was 20 years old, and I sent this tape out to this guy, and lo and behold, he loved it and played it for the little indie label that he worked for at the time. And 2 weeks later, I'm getting signed to a 6-record contract. I'm, in college, 20 years old, just freaking out. So it really happened kind of quickly for me. So I put that album out, and at the same time, the guy that I was studying with in college, composition and arranging lessons, I didn't really notice, but he owned his own jingle company, and he was kind of grooming me to end up working for him. So I was making records and doing jingles at the same time. This is in the 90s, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I really kind of cut my teeth learning all the different musical styles, doing jingles, because it's everything from hip hop to full orchestra. We did United Airlines. We did Gatorade. We did Sears. We did, McDonald's. Have you had your break today? A lot of the jingles we took were already written, but we would interpret and do new arrangements and this and that. So
Oh my gosh.
crazy
So
business.
so when you were told about our show, like how
Yeah.
how do you come up with it? Do you kind of did you ask Scott like, okay, it's a morning show, there's
Yeah.
mountains, sunrise. Like how do you get your inspiration for something like our
Well,
jingle?
yeah. First of all, when you're dealing with news, it's an interesting proposition because you have to do music that will work for two scenarios, right?
Mhm.
Number one, a morning show is typically bright and sunny and good morning.
Yeah.
However, you have to understand that at some point, there will be tragedies in the world,
Yep,
right?
we're reading the headlines.
There
Yes.
you go. So
Yep.
therefore, the music can't be all smiles. There has to be something kind of like I don't know, indifferent.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
it's not sad, it's not happy. So if you think I spent the most time on your theme with the opening little jingle per se, da, da,
Ye
da, 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 it's not really sad or happy. Think
Yeah.
about that, right?
Yeah.
So it can
Okay.
kind of work in either scenario. So that's what's important. But once we get into the theme, I wanted it to feel uplifting
Yep.
and driving. So like, hey, it's morning, wake up, get your here's some musical coffee.
Totally. I know.
So,
It energizes me. And are we gonna play it, Emma? Oh, we might put it up here.
oh, cool.
Forgive our dancing here,
I
that
love
might
it.
might
Hilarious.
distract you a little bit from the tunes. But when I hear that, I mean
Yeah.
I get energized and I
Oh,
do
cool.
think of like the sun coming up and it's just like,
Yeah.
hey, you gotta face the day and we're gonna help you do it and
That was the
everything.
other thing with the very, very beginning of it. It'll
Mhm.
sound like the sun is riding.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was visually thinking about Vale, the mountains, sun rising, and all that. And then you get into it, and when the music is rolling, it's like, okay, we're mountain biking, we're doing this,
Yeah.
so all that.
Okay, yeah, and you're familiar with the mountains. I heard you've played Winter Park Jazz for
Oh,
quite some time.
yeah, I've been playing that festival for many years, off and on. So,
Yeah.
we played Denver, of course, but I must confess, I've never been to Vale. I hate to say it,
I know,
but
I
we
know.
must remedy this.
Yes, we gotta get you out here. We gotta get you playing either at the Vlar Performing Arts Center or I think, the Gerald R. Ford Amphitheater in the
Uh,
summertime. There's
ooh,
no better venue and, just awesome. All right, well, hey, Emma, we're gonna play the theme song just so our viewers can remember what it is and what you're
sure.
thinking. And you played all the different instruments in
Yeah,
this?
yeah. So I played all the things. There's drums. I played drums, bass. There's some guitar on there, piano, of course, and all the
Yeah,
keyboards and
yeah.
effects. So,
Okay. Okay. All right.
Here we go.
Okay, here we go. We're gonna roll it.
oh, and horns,
Oh, and horns.
horns.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny. We didn't know what we were doing, and all of a sudden they put our dance moves to your music, and we're like, oh, okay. So, but it is fun, and they did a great job editing our moves into it. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
Brian, we've had a lot of fun with this, and
Mhm.
hey, real quick, I know your 20th album came out in 2020.
Yeah.
So the pandemic, you still released it. You did a lot of shows on Instagram, YouTube, on Facebook, in your studio down there. But how was it to release an album during the pandemic?
Well, it was not ideal. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
We had a whole 3-month tour planned. I was going to
Yeah.
be in 70 cities across the U.S. Right upon its release. Obviously, plans changed, so I immediately kind of pivoted and tried to figure out the live stream game. So my first show, I've been streaming 3 nights a week actually for the past
Okay.
over a year now.
Yeah.
So my first live show with all this stuff was mid-May of
Ah.
2020.
Now,
So about a month after the album release. So
okay.
I had been going just kind of Facebook Live with the phone, like so many
Yeah.
musicians. But that can only take you so far. The audio is horrible, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
So I actually called Scott, and his son Taylor helped out, and so I was calling as many people as I could to understand this new technology. So many of us just kind of jumped in the deep end, trying to learn how do you stream like a pro.
Yeah.
How many people
Yeah.
Googled that one, right?
I know, totally.
Yeah,
Everyone was watching the YouTube video on that. All right.
exactly.
So now what is next for you? And any live performances coming up?
Yeah, yeah. So first of all, I'm working on a new album. It's actually 3 albums at once. I'm doing a trilogy. Never
Okay.
done this before. I decided to do this mainly because I am not traveling right now. Normally, I'm
Yeah.
always traveling, and I never have time to do that much. And I'm trying to, get the record done. But so this year, I was like, let me make 3 albums.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
start releasing in the fall, and then start going back to shows. In September, I have my first live show back, and that's actually going to be at my own jazz festival here in Chicago.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I started 2 festivals, one in Napa Valley, in fact.
Oh, fun.
Uh,
Well, I see you like wine. All the wine behind you.
there's that. Yeah. Good morning.
Yes.
Yes, I started the Napa Festival about 10 years ago. So a few years ago, I added the Chicago event. So that's every September. Napa's in June. So we're back this September. Very excited. All the fans are like, "Oh my God, I can't wait to see a live show again." So
Yeah.
you know.
Okay. Well, good. All right. Well, Brian, so nice to talk to you this morning, and we do want to get you out here. We're going to talk to we got friends
Oh,
around these concert venues, so we got to get you a high energy show. We'd be really excited to have you on.
I'm very excited. Thanks again for having me, and happy to be a part of your morning every day.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
gotta love that.
Okay.
So there you
All right.
have it.
Well,
So
we'll check in with you. We'll
if you
check in
need
with
it,
you.
yeah. By the way, you can get to all my links through my website, brianculbertson.com,
Yes.
and Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff, YouTube, and all that stuff, as well as my streaming show, which is called The Hang.
Okay.
Initially, it was like
Okay.
Friday night studio hang, but that was took too long. So my wife
Yeah.
was like, "Why don't you shorten that?" I'm like, The Hang. We're like, "Yeah,
Dang.
that's cool."
There it is. All
Yeah,
right.
there it is.
The tour from your studio.
Oh
All
yeah.
right. Well, and Brian, we're gonna have to talk to you closer to the release of the trilogy
Cool,
albums
cool.
and just find out what you're up to. But have a great summer in
Thanks.
Chicagoland.
You too. Enjoy the
Okay.
mountains.
All right. Thanks so much. Brian
Cheers.
Culbertson, the composer and the instrumentalist on our Vale Daily Live